Hello, good morning. I just brewed myself a cup of natural Ethiopian coffee, and I thought it'd be a good time to unpack some um, single release stuff. I kind of forget what I say here and what I've posted on my social media, but I prefer this platform. Instagram has been wreaking a havoc on me. Exhibit A. No, this is all work's fault. Yeah, watching that back, the previous vlog I made is hard. um, and it's tempting to like take it down. But the point of this, for me, this whole series is to let those moments exist and not curate myself and not only put my best foot forward. And I want it. This is all for me, right? Like, literally, I have like 4 people viewing some of these videos and no likes. So, this is, I feel like, a social experiment I'm running about the unraveling, the unmasking of a person in her 30s, late, putting the puzzle pieces together about her mental health and everything. And I want to be comfortable with having parts of myself out there exist that I'm not like comfortable with, in a sense, or it's about the people pleasing, right? So like I want to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like, why do I feel the need to fill empty spaces in a conversation with words, like just let there be silence, or over explaining things, like when there's a simple yes or no question, defending myself. So I'm just trying to be more okay with having things about myself be out there that people might like be disgusted by or hate or dislike, or worst of all is literally just like not care. But I want to be okay with that. Like, I want to embrace every side of me, every high and low, the in between. Pregnant pause. Oh, that's so good. And so that's what the series has become, is just really unmasking and documenting that journey for myself, I guess, to look back on one day and be like, huh, she really put herself out there and she worked to grow. And I might discover that, all this TMI and oversharing, at some point I really want to pull back again and protect my privacy even more, but I'm not there now. I'm sure after this whole release, I'm going to be so sick of sharing everything and probably pull back. But I think the ebb and flow is a very natural part of any human life. Also, particularly being a creative person, there's like the outward sharing what you made, but then there's all of the alone time of making the art. And I think a lot of us burn out when we're trying to do both at the same time because they're just so different. And personally, I am trying to tell people I am an introvert, guys. Like, I need way more alone time than you think. I know that I get all amped up around people, certain situations where I get, of course, like hyper and everything, but it's just like that in itself, when that hyper mode turns on, afterwards, I'm feeling the aftermath, like I need alone time to recharge. And it's hard for people to see like someone who is extroverted, performer type, who loves to joke around or to talk, to need alone time. But that is like the most important time. That's when I get to sort through I really feel about things, and at times probably overthink as well and criticize, like, oh, why did I say that, or dang, that was oversharing, or oh, that probably was very rude, or didn't come off like the way I intended. So, but it's a necessary thing, and it brings me to actually what my point was today, was to talk about colors, actually, because this is my second book, songwriting book that I have owned. We're currently here, so there's this much space left. This color is very bold. My first one was actually gifted to me by someone that I actually don't even remember what her name was. Met her when I was 19, I think, and she came up to me and she's like, hey, I just have this feeling that you're supposed to be writing. And at this point, I'm not writing anything, and for me, writing is cringe and like so awkward, and I feel very disconnected to my feelings and my thoughts. And she comes up and gives me this and says that, like, I think God wanted me to give you this so that you'd start writing. And I was like, okay. Then I did. I called it Dear God. May 2012. So I have filled this book with all of my first types of writings and songs, and I went through it just now, and I was thinking, oh, did I release any of these songs? And I think the only thing that I have actually released out of any of these first ones is called Words. It's kind of a, what's it called? Side liar? No, that's a word. Words. It's kind of like a unique one in my first collection of songs that I have out there. Doesn't really fit in with anything else, but I love it. And I had the strangest feedback on it from a producer friend who was like, I had to listen to it a few times because like I didn't get it. For me, if I don't get something right away, I don't listen to it again. So I was like, wow, I respect you wanting to listen to that again. I didn't think it was that hard to get, but I don't know. That was like a really cool feedback. But then I ran out of pages in this one, right? And what I loved about it is this is cloth. The texture is like squishy, soft, and like sturdy, you know? I don't like those flimsy paper notebooks that people like, you know, when they read paperback books and they fold the, So I just like how sturdy this is, and it traveled with me everywhere. Yes, it was huge, but I prioritized it. And I ran out of space, and I was in a little bit of a rush, and I wanted the same texture. And this was like the first best thing I found, but I remember being so unhappy with the color because I did not identify with this color, which might be weird now, right? Because, well, I'm, first of all, got literally this color on me. But if you do follow along on my Instagram, I am posting a lot of stuff with this color. And it just hit me now that my book is this color. Like, not now, but before I decided to make this video today. And that's why I brought it out. So, at this time when I started writing in this book, I was started a band called Sorgen Fri, which means sorrow free in Norwegian. And I was in my rock era. Like, I was obsessed with Wolf Alice. Literally, like, Tug of War, my song, is so inspired by them. Another song we've only played live as well called I'm Still Me. super heavily influenced by them. And I was like listening to as well Janis Joplin. I wrote a song for her inspired by her so sad story. That's horrible to, like, this is not joking time. I was inspired. I don't know, her story hurt so much for me. All she wanted was love, and just very Romeo and Juliet timing of everything in her life. Just didn't work out. And I wrote then a song for Fyr Janis, as you know, Fyr Elise. So I like wrote an ode to her, and I did record this song, haven't released it yet, but I just see here like this one liner I have that's a lyric in the song, written February 22, 2018. I need to live a life I can live with. And the whole song ends with, I want desperately for you to be proud of me. I don't know, like, of course it's for her, but I wrap myself into all these songs. I try to learn from other people's choices, and good choices, bad choices. It's all very valuable. But yeah, so I was in my very rock era, wearing black, and you know how it goes. So this color was just so like, ugh. But it was what I had, and so I kept writing in it, and it's just so weird, and what a fun way to document your life is through songwriting, because not everybody gets to have that. Like, I can always look back to, oh, how I was feeling that time, that year, and that season. I have a song from that, and sometimes I get to have my songs as like a retrospective history revealing thing, and sometimes my songs point to a future that I don't even know, but something that my subconscious is manifesting or pointing towards. And it's just weird that, like, this full circle moment, the song I'm about to release, like, what I pictured was this type of like very bright pink color, which on so many levels speaks to me. I have just generally struggled with identifying with such a girly color, because for me, I felt like it was safer to be tough, to not be girly in this world. I felt way more like this. And the song I'm releasing in Norwegian, first of all, which is also like the first time I'm doing something I've talked about here as well, like identifying as a Norwegian has been difficult when you've lived abroad for so many years. Also, my like worst grades ever, when I took 1 year of leave and went to Norway to study. That's like my worst grade is writing in Norwegian. So it's like all my insecurities on display. But I love putting a color to a song. I know I'm not the first and I'm not the last to do that. I tested this on some students one time. I was teaching songwriting, and I showed them a song of mine. Oh, this probably made a lot of noise. I showed them Let Me Go from my last EP, and I asked them, like, what color do you guys envision when you hear this? And there was like a kid who was like immediately like dark blue, and I'm like, yes. So I feel like it makes sense, but I pictured this very bright like coral pink for this release, because because that's the feeling I get. And I also am talking about facing my fears, unmasking, showing my vulnerable side, letting people know I'm scared when all I want to do is put up a tough front and be just like untouchable and strong and fierce. And you know, I used to think that made me brave, but being brave is, you know, actually having a fear to face. You're not brave if you're not scared. So it's been a really beautiful journey for me to unpack this theme. But that's why it also was so cool and important for me to be okay with releasing something with like this bright of a color in the whole imagery. And then of course I see like, oh, literally all the shoes from like World Cup soccer, like Nike, Adidas, they're all doing this color. And then I don't know which one came first, the egg or the hen here, but like I probably of course was subconsciously inspired by people. But you also see, right, that's like a theory too, like once you think about something, you'll see it everywhere, like, oh, a red bike everywhere, you know. So now I see this color everywhere, like artists are posting with that font. And then Charlie XCX releases a music video now with like, she's wearing a shirt in that color, and I'm like, ah, yeah, that's it, that you get it, like that's where I wanted to go. And but it's just interesting. That's what I thought. Colors and like the, of course, trends, but there's what's that word when it's like a theme for a season. It's called, man, words are escaping me. I worked as a translator one time. No, for a year, not just one time. And it's weird how when you're working, like your brain actually feeds you words. And then I would be off stage and like people would ask me like, oh, what's this word in Norwegian or English? And I'm like, I couldn't tell you, like I have no my brain is off. So it's weird to see how your brain can be super on and feeding you everything you need, and then all of a sudden it's just so that's the word will maybe come to me. Maybe you guys can comment it if it's like the, yeah, if you can think of that word, help me out. It's like the theme of what the spirit of this age is carrying. Yeah. But I need a sip before we continue. Yeah, so I've been wanting to talk about this color and this, the intention behind what I'm promoting on my Instagram. I really, I'm struggling out there, guys, which is so weird because it's what the song is about too, like believing in yourself, with like struggling for approval, for appearing brave, for, and just being knee deep in mess, but then like not wanting to give up. And it's just like weird to watch it happening in front of me as I'm posting it. It's just like this weird, as I said, social experiment. Like I'm mentally like tripping, and also working so much that I'm using all of my energy on like executive functioning at work, and then you come home and you have tiny bits of energy left, but you want to share something, and I'm not able now at this point to discern like, oh, is this oversharing? Is this like, it's just word vomits, post vomits? But then I've also said that I don't want to be filtering stuff. I don't want to be hiding it. So I am trying to show it as well, but I'm like, but I can't tell what's too far. And it's really taking a toll on my confidence, because so hard to just post and ghost and not just stay there and compare yourself. Like, it really is, it's hard. But I believe so much in the hard work I put into the song. We're having had to mix it like 4 more rounds, hoping to get it done today. And that's just triggering everything of like insecurities in me, of feeling like I'm too much, asking for too much, being too nitpicky now. That's why, I mean, I prefer to be spontaneous. I like this type of format because I don't have time to overthink, just act. And when someone then gives me like an opportunity to nitpick, then we're screwed. So that's what I feel like Instagram is becoming too, is I would prefer if like well, everyone would prefer that everybody liked what they posted, but I don't want to be stuck like editing a video for too long, because then it gets like, first of all, I get sick of it, bored, uninspired, and then see every fault in it, and then second guess it, and then yeah. So I just like to be spontaneous. It's not a cup of coffee for everyone, for sure. I love curated, beautifully, intentionally thought out pieces of art, like of work as well. I would love to get to do that more. I just don't have right now the capacity. I mean, we have shot my we have shot some content for, like, not content. We've shot the single cover and some visualizers around it on film, which I'm so excited about, but so nervous about too, because I don't get to see the result. We sent it to Spain, and it's coming back soon, I guess. And it could be anything. And then literally, that's my husband who shot it. He shot it all. The next day, he received like a scan back from something else he had done with the same type of film roll, and he's like unhappy about it and said, "This is the same type of roll I used on your project." But here, actually, I was very proud of myself. Instead of going into a full panic spiral, and I think what my habit would be is to make him feel bad about it too. I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a happy accident waiting to fall in our laps. Like, it could be cool, even though it's not maybe what we pictured. But this is the risk of film. Like, it's just so tangible and so in the moment, which I wanted to just not put on a false facade. Like, I wanted to be snapped in the moment, and it was what happened, and that's what you get, you know? I don't want to over curate. And I think that's why my stuff is just, I'm not trending or good at any of this social media shit, because I'm unwilling now to try to look cool. Like, yeah, it's an easy formula to get that Instagram look, but it's just not inspiring to me anymore. Like, I'm okay with it looking tacky and cringe, even though, of course, I want to make cool shit, but I'm get also so quickly tired of trends. Like, I'm on to the next thing, and now that I felt like I've been there before and cracked like what typically looks cool and what people like, I don't want to do it anymore. That's just how my brain works. So now I'm like trying to carve out something new, and it's probably, hopefully, failing forward. But yeah, I connect with artists that of course make beautiful craft, but like that feel real and are willing to look dumb and be vulnerable and let people in. They're the ones that I get inspired by. So I would like to do the same. For sure, I want to focus on making really good craft. Like, what I can focus on right now is like the music, but I just really want the storytelling behind the song to come out. And one last thing about this song. I know this is a long one, but I've been doing short ones, so I think it evens out the scale here. Um, I am a, is it a Virgo? Vertigo? Virgo in English. So, um, what I wanted to say about songwriting, and like sometimes the songs point forward and manifest things that the songwriter is even personally unaware of. Cannot remember, and I do not want to even bother to check, but I can't remember if I said the actual reason the song came about. First off, there was a writing session planned September 1st, 2024. It was the day after I had played a festival in Stavanger called Utopia. We had this really sweet booker put us on like one of the indie stages, and my memories of that day is I got my period and my brain fogged over. And in like, I guess, dress rehearsal, we were practicing in the studio like really close by before coming up to play. I just felt like no, shit, my brain stopped working, and like we were kind of trying to time like the in between talks, and like I couldn't remember titles. I was just like, oh, this is so funny. I remembered saying, because in Tug of War, our opening song, I have this spot where I always say like, I love you, fill in like the festival or the place or whatever, and it's Utopia is the festival, right? I was like, I love you, Ethiopia, and we just died at that. But my brain was just off, and I was like, yeah, and I tried to power through it, and like our sound check was horrible once we got there, but I couldn't tell honestly what's me and what's the sound check. But apparently, like, our sound was just like not on for the first song, and there's white noise in my ears, and I went down to do like my tiny little guitar solo, and the smoke machine just like blasted my face, and I lost my grip. So that that was that gig, and like what felt like, you know, two people who showed up, and one of them was my friend with the camera. But anytime to play honestly is awesome. It's just like my brain was not there. And then, you know, afterwards we went and like watched all the other shows, and like these incredible like pop artists are playing, just the energy and like the big sets they have, and particularly Gabrielle from Bergen, she headlined that night, and everything was just immaculate. The songwriting, like everything, the visuals, her engagement with the crowd, like everything. I was like so in a good way, just jealous of. And in the middle of that, I'm standing next to my friend, the one who took the photos. I just like bring out my notes and I start writing. And my friend's like, "You're writing during a concert? What's wrong with you?" But yeah, I was so inspired, but it also came out of this place of like feeling like the comparison, and I was literally like way behind over there on a tiny stage, and then this, and then I wish I didn't feel jealousy, right? Like I don't want to be that kind of person. I want to be, as someone, Jake Peralta once said in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like jealousy is an ugly color, and I stand by that, and I want to always cheer on other people and not be jealous in that sense. But I just felt very like, you know, that people can probably tell I'm jealous and all this. And then I have the session the next day, and I'm on this bus ride for like 8 hours. It was hot, toilet didn't work. Remember, I'm on my period, like just the worst. But I knew I'm heading into a session, and I'm meeting two guys that one of them I've never met, who just was flying in from Finland for this. The other guy I actually did run into at some other event. We briefly talked, and I remember thinking like, oh, he seems nice, but like really just short. We were thrust into this writing session together, randomly for like it was supposed to be for Eurovision, but the friend who set this all up, he said like, you just write whatever you want for your project, like don't even think about Eurovision. And I did not. So I'm like nervous, but I also want to have something prepared, and I felt like last night I had started on something, and I also recalled like a voice memo, just like a melody I had stuck somewhere far down in my voice memos, and I tried to piece them together. But remember, I'm on a bus, so I can't like voice out anything. I can't. So it's all happening in here, and I'm just writing on my notes, and I'm trying to remember like what like the pacing would be and stuff. And at this point I'm writing in English, which is my preferred language to write in. And I get there, and we meet, and just like immediately vibe, just full hyper energy, bouncing off the walls. Like everyone could relate to the feeling of like comparing ourselves to these great artists, but just wanting to have fun and celebrate music and what we love about it as well. And we do belong in this room as long as you like music, like you get to make music. And everyone is just vibing off with each other. We got to use some of the instruments that I was carrying with me from the previous gig. I had like a Prophet synth and an electric guitar to get there. No roadies. But we got to use it, and it's just like tracked everything in like 2 hours. And the demo of the vocals as well, and like I got most of the lyrics down in just that one tiny session. So that can happen, just like worlds exploding together and creating something beautiful. And so then I have this demo, and like no plan. It was way more pop than what I was doing because I was so inspired by all the pop musicians I'd heard the day before, right? So all my references were like Dagny and Gabriella, obviously, but I'd heard Ramon. It was also, it's just like a lot of these Norwegian pop artists, you know, super Scandi. And so I didn't know what to do with this, and it was just sitting in my lap. And then I think like a year later, I had this sync company I was working with that they did not get me anything. Who reached out and were like, hey, there's an animation film in Norwegian coming out, and they're looking for people to help on the promo, trailer, song, score, whatever. We're reaching out to a couple of people, but if you have something that kind of sounds like this, and they sent like a demo, would be interested. And I heard it, and it was like, for me, like a popified Mumford and Sons. And I was like, I don't have anything like that. And it had to be in Norwegian too. So I especially don't have anything in Norwegian. But I watched the trailer of this film. It was about a sea worm that can't swim. I don't know, I was like really touched by that little fella. He couldn't swim, but he was on an island, and his island was threatened, and his friends and family had to be like, I don't know what, I only saw the trailer, so I don't know the actual plot, but I think it's also based on a book, a children's book. But this sea worm who's afraid of swimming, and he can't swim because he doesn't have, well, sea worms don't have fins, so I had to. Anyway, he couldn't swim, but he somehow like faced his fears and went to the mainland and got help for his family and friends. And I think they were also like making fun of him for like in the beginning of this film, setting the stage of like, oh, he can't swim, stuff like that. And so I was like, you know, I really do feel resonate with this story, and I do have a pop song, but it's completely different lyrics and wrong language. And what I did was like, I think it was like overnight, just rewrote it to fit the script. And then had to re-record vocals as well. And we were trying to sing it in a little bit more of like, okay, this is for a children's movie, right? So I'm being kind of like gentle. We called it Disneyfy my vocals. And as well, it fit me perfectly because the language is very elementary, and that's like the level of my Norwegian. I had some friends say like, oh my gosh, why don't you write more Norwegian songs? I'm like, literally because I can't express myself in this language. So that's how this song came about. And then they didn't pick it. They freaking went with the demo they sent around. Like, I also paid money to re-record this, but that's the risk of the game, right? And so again, I'm just stuck with this song in my lap. So this was last summer. And in my head, I'm gearing towards this kind of more, going back to more of my like indie rock, folk type music to make my album. And then there's this hyper pop. It's not hyper pop because that's an actual genre, but for me it's very pop. And in Norwegian and about a sea worm that can't swim. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? But I somehow love the song. And people that have heard it love it too. And it felt like almost like a shame to gatekeep this. But I really was like, how am I supposed to promote this in this sphere? But I had released something very electronic as a collab with Joachim previously, called Caught in a Daydream. So like it could actually make sense as a next step in theory. But then we got to fall last year and I decided to swear off music, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm settling normal job life, no more music. Half a year of that, and then we get to the first video of this vlog series, right? So I don't know if I regret I do not regret choosing to release the song at all, because I still love the story. But my point was that there was a point. My point was I thought this song was about something else. And then now this song is literally revealing me to me. That I am the one who's, been so scared, but I want to be brave. And I want to help people, but I'm full of anxiety, but I hate showing that to people. And there's some music, of course, like the songwriter inserts, their soul into whatever they make. So like I particularly verse 2 when it comes out. That's very revealing. But there's no right or wrong move in this situation here. I'm just living. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow. There's really no big strategic plan because I'm not really good at planning. So it's just a journey. I'm trying to hang on for dear life, and I enjoyed sharing the process behind it and the people I met along the way. I love music. I've listened to the song so much because of the mix and everything, but and I still like it, so that's a good sign. Yeah, so I can't wait for you guys to hear it, and it's also inspired by this color being bravely vulnerable, bravely a girl, and so that's Jeg vil ikke gi opp, which is never give up. I don't want to give up. Yeah. I don't know exactly when it's coming out because it's still not mastered, but hopefully before the summer ends. So that's the story, and Have a good day, guys. Never give up.